European gold medal winning routine. The men's floor competition is the first of our apparatus finals. Nikita Nagorny, the second strongest qualifier and the all-around champion, will go fourth in the order. Kirill Prokopiev from the Russian Federation, the top qualifier, will go sixth in the order. He'll be followed by Benjamin Guichard of Switzerland, the third strongest in qualification. So an opportunity perhaps here for the Swiss to get themselves on the podium in Basel. It's going to be a very tight final.
It is going to be a very tight final indeed. Apparatus finals are all about the specialists, the people who excel on one apparatus. And we are expecting a very tight competition. Looking at the difficulty scores, all of these people have superb execution, and so it's going to be very close.
Ahmed Under is the 8th strongest in qualification. Competed in the all-around final yesterday and had a difficult day. Igor Sharonkov of Belarus, the 5th strongest in qualification. He can really raise the roof and indeed hit it with some of his tumbling passes. Nicola Bartolini competed in the top group in the all-around competition yesterday and had a competition displaying his wonderful form. On the subject of the word wonderful, Nikita Nagorny, the reigning European and world all-around champion. Will we see something extra special from him on the floor exercise today? Adam Assil had to withdraw injured from the all-around final. He's the 4th strongest in qualification here. He's been blighted by injury on 2 occasions at the European Championships. Kirill Prokopiev is the reigning world university champion on the floor exercise and the top qualifier with 15.066. Benjamin Guichard of Switzerland, the 3rd strongest in qualification at his 5th European Championships. The law student, can he lay down the law to the rest of the field? And the final qualifier, Dimitar Dimitrov of Bulgaria, 7th best in qualification. It's his 4th European Championships. So there are your runners and riders. That's the field in this men's floor competition. The first reserve was the Dutch gymnast Casimir Schmidt, and there are reserves ready to stand in at a moment's notice, and we saw it in the all-around final yesterday where some reserves, well, they did very well indeed. So you never know, you might get to take your chance as a reserve gymnast. Now, there are lots of people who are going to be having a think about what is to come from Nikita Nagorny in his opening tumbling pass. But we'll come on to the detail of all that in a little while as we look at the field who are waiting for Ahmed Under to get us underway. Well, there'll be a lot of people wishing this gentleman very well indeed. Ahmed Under was in real contention for all-around honours yesterday until he had problems on the horizontal bar. He is an exemplary gymnast in terms of his form, in terms of his execution. And Blythe, you mentioned the tale of redemption for some gymnasts. Well, I think we start with a gymnast who's aiming for that.
No doubt. He was in the thick of things for the entire men's all-around competition, and it all went wrong for him on horizontal bar, his last event of the day. And so he comes into today thinking, hey, I'm going to do what I can do, and I'm going to show people, hopefully, what I am able to do. And he is a very, very capable gymnast. And he's also proven that he can do things well under pressure. He earned his ticket to the Olympic Games on parallel bars at the 2019 World Championships, where he won the silver medal.
Ahmed Under of Turkey gets us underway. The 8th strongest in qualification. He had problems in the floor final at the 2018 European Championships in Glasgow.
Just gorgeous in the air on that first tumbling pass, like a diver.
He is the reigning national champion.
Hangs on there for the stuck landing. One way to think about men's floor exercise is to think in terms of small, medium, and large errors. Small errors are fine about 1/10 of a point. Some medium errors fine 3/10 of a point. Large steps and hops, that kind of thing, will lose you 5/10 of a point. And falls, of course, will give you a full point off. And what he's trying to do, and doing very well so far, is just minimizing all of those little deductions, notably the hops and steps on his landings.
Step forward at the conclusion of the routine from Ahmed Under, but that was a composed opening performance in this men's floor final. And when one considers what this poor gentleman has been through, one suspects emotionally over the past 24 hours, that's a job very well done by a lovely gymnast.
His gymnastics is so beautiful to watch. We say it over and over again. He is second to none when it comes to having really beautiful form. And what he did in this routine is he minimized those landing deductions. This, a very intricate pass, front full through to double front half out, a lot going on. Very hard to land on a dime, as it were.
He was part of the Turkish team that won that hugely impressive silver medal at the European Championship at home in Mersin at the end of last year.
Just gorgeous technique. Look at his toe point, look at the position in the air, and look at the landing. The way he opens out, he's able to spot the floor. Little arm swing, but his feet don't move. And the only place where he gave something back to the judges was on this dismount, full twisting double tuck at the end of the routine. When we talk in terms of small, medium, and large errors, that step forward, which is more than shoulder length apart, that will lose him 5/10 of a point.
So as a result, the score for Under is 14.166. And he drops down by a few tenths from his qualification performance. Igor Sharankov of Belarus didn't compete in the all-around final, withdrew from that despite having secured a berth for it. Fifth strongest in qualification, and he won the bronze medal at the European Championships in 2020. He does do some quite impressive things, particularly with this opening tumbling pass, if it's what we expect.
Well, we will see.
Yeah, oh, almost.
That is what we expected. There are two men in this competition who potentially will throw triple backs, and he is one. He's gone for it here. Unfortunately, stepping with both of his feet out of bounds as he tried to absorb that landing. That will cost him 3/10 of a point.
It was such a nice moment for Sharankov when he got that bronze medal at the championships in 2020, because he was fourth in the vault final a year before in Poland, and he only dropped down out of the medals because of an inquiry from another gymnast whose score was upgraded, Andrei Medvedev, the athlete who ended up on the podium. Sharankov, I mean, he really does just hit that huge high-octane opening tumbling pass. As you say, by the triple, this is the key thing. This is the difference, that extra rotation.
And men's floor exercise is so competitive that we are seeing guys who are doing things, big things, to try to distinguish themselves from the pack a little bit, and this fits the bill. Even with the out of bounds, it is such a spectacular skill to watch, and he does it really, really well. And this is the same pass that we saw from Under. Flipping and twisting in combination. Very intricate, very difficult. All of his tumbling is so well hung up in the air at the triple full dismount, maybe gives a 10th back. But at the end of a routine like that, well.
He was a very good young trampoline gymnast as a child. Had to make the choice between trampoline gymnastics or artistic gymnastics. If you're in Belarus, there's quite a pull actually towards trampoline gymnastics. They are one of the greatest nations of that particular sport. So the artistic gymnastics world, very lucky it got its hands on Igor Sharamkov, because it could have gone in a different direction. So we wait for his score to come in as this gentleman waits for his opportunity to take to the floor. They're all experienced in floor finals, these first three. And indeed is the gentleman who's following them. Nicola Bartolini was 8th at the European Championships of 2019 in the floor competition. He competed in the all-around yesterday. It looks as though, yes indeed, 13.966 for Sharamkov, so Under manages to hold on to the top spot. Sharamkov's gone down by over a half mark there from qualification, and perhaps that out of bounds was a substantial part of that on the first tumbling pass. To Nicola Bartolini of Italy, 25-year-old, who was 8th in the floor competition in Szczecin 2 years ago. 14.558 his qualification score, the 6th best.
Really wonderful start with the handspring front double pike, sticking it. Double twisting, double tuck, very nice as well. Nicola Bartolini is an artist in floor exercise. Everybody can tumble well, but what he adds that makes himself different is a sense of finesse. Every movement is so smooth. He's got an elegance to his work, and that sets him apart. Left to front layout full.
That is a fine routine from Nicola Bartolini. He changed his training base not so long ago. Moved to the outskirts of Milan to train at Propria Bustese. He thinks it's had a real impact in enhancing his gymnastics, in improving the quality of his work. And there is such quality to this gentleman's work. He'll really have his eye on the forthcoming World Championships. Take place towards the end of the year in Japan, and this was encouraging work from him.
This was terrific from start to finish, opening up with this front double pike, and look at the stuck landing. His feet just didn't move, and that will serve him very well when it comes to his execution score. Sometimes on floor exercise, gymnasts give away just little tenths, and they do so many tumbling passes that every time you land, you give away 0.1 to 0.3. In this routine, he did not do that.
Yes, it can just be a little attritional, can't it? The losses of tenths here and there for things that look comparatively small when one views the routine holistically.
They add up, and men's tumbling is... The gymnasts do so many passes these days, and they have to do that in order to build their difficulty score to be competitive, to get into these finals.
Oh,
but that
what a reaction,
is the
eh?
reaction.
He was almost doing that before he landed. Just had a feeling, didn't he, that he'd got it absolutely spot on. It's surely going to be good enough for the lead. Oh, it is good enough for the lead. 14.666. And the execution score of Bartolini, 8.866. The lowest difficulty we've seen so far, but overwhelmingly the best execution. It's classic Bartolini.
There is more than one way to build a big score.
Big score, you say? Nikita Nagorny, right on cue. second strongest in qualification, 15.066, but that was with a rather spectacular first tumbling pass. What are we going to see here? There's our answer. There is our answer. Magic.
He does it again, and better than he did in qualification. There's strength, there's precision, there's originality, and there's the guts to do something that nobody's ever done before.
It's all his own. Just as the all-around competition yesterday was all his own.
He is stacking one monstrously hard tumbling pass after another. And he, too, is not giving away much in execution. There are little hops on some of the landings, but his way of building a big score is to do it through difficulty, and he's utterly succeeding right now.
It has been an extraordinary competition so far from Nikita Nagorny, as all competitions seem to be from Nikita Nagorny, the all-around gold medalist defending his title from 2 years ago yesterday, the reigning world champion. He is just a sensational athlete. Won the floor title for the first time at the European Championships in 2016. And it's all about that spectacular opening tumbling pass.
Wonderful to watch. The height that he gets, round off back handspring, and look at how he hangs this up in the air. 1, 2, 3. Plenty of time to anticipate that landing, and just the little hop back even keeps it in bounds. This is the hardest iteration of his floor routine that we have seen, and part of that comes on the dismount. He added an extra twist to it compared to the all-around final. When he did an easier version, he took out the triple pike.
Yes, it will be fascinating to see the kind of difficulty number that's posted here, because he had a 6.6 in qualification with that triple pike skill.
And just sticking things as well. That Arabian double front half out. And this the dismount. 2 flips, 2 twists in the tuck position.
What a number, 15.166. His difficulty score is a 6.8. It goes up by 2/10 from qualification, and he goes overwhelmingly into the lead. Well, Bartolini will likely with a smile under that mask acknowledge that that's a score that deserves to go into a European gold medal position. Now then, what of this young man, Adem Asil, whose star turn came in the qualification phase of the competition? If you only watched the all-around final, you will not have seen him at his best. He secured an Olympic place for himself. What can he do now, having had a shoulder injury yesterday that forced his withdrawal from the all-around competition? 4th strongest in qualification.
2 really nice passes to open, including unique first pass front layup for the double front half. Everything that he needs to be able to challenge for medals on the European scene, and indeed has made quite a splash so far.
If you watched the European Championships at the end of last year, you will know him as Abdelrahman El Gamal. Just recently changed his name. What he has changed a lot over the past few years is not just his name, but his gymnastics. That's the key change for this gentleman. The quality of what he is now doing. Can he finish? Indeed so. Adem Asil, and that again feels like a little moment of redemption. You can see, I'm sure, his shoulder is so heavily taped up. I mean, goodness only knows the pain that he's feeling, and one hopes that it's nothing too serious, and probably a wise precaution to have him remove himself from the all-around competition yesterday, because this is not a year that one wishes to take chances with when it comes to injury.
Certainly not, and especially since in qualification he earned his spot to the Olympic Games, and that is for him by name. So the ticket to Tokyo is booked, and right now it's all about refining these routines. There were a few places here where he gave something back in terms of the landing, maybe 0.3 of a point deductions here and there on some of these landings. That was probably a 1/10 deduction. But for him to be able to go out and do a routine after all of the controversy that he's faced in the all-around final, and then the emotions also of attaining something that you have been dreaming about for so long in terms of that Olympic qualification place. He will join 3 of his teammates and training partners at the Games. And you can imagine what that does to you psychologically. There must be a bit of a come down afterwards. And then he had to go out and do an all-around final.
It's something that we've reflected on with Turkey as his score comes in 13.966, is just how right Turkey has got the qualification process for the Olympic Games. We'll come back to that later. It's Kirill Prokopiev, the top performer in qualification, but that's a tricky beginning for him.
That's unfortunate. That will cost him. And given what we've seen so far, that might well take him out of the medal hunt. But this routine is so much fun to watch, and he has a spectacular sequence. We talk about setting ourselves apart on floor exercise, coming up at the end of the routine that will be really glorious to watch.
He didn't just win the World University Games title in 2019, he defended his own title from Taipei in 2017. But it's the first time that we've seen him at the European Championships.
And here we go. Flares up through the handstand twice. And look at that, the air flare. That merits a round of applause all of its own.
Some lovely creativity in the work of Kirill Prokopiev of the Russian Federation, the top qualifier. But the challenge was really thrown down by Nikita Nagorny with his score 15.166. That the 10th higher than Prokopiev received in the qualification process.
Well, it was always going to be hard for him, and just there, you put your hands down on your first pass, and then you have to do the rest of your routine, which is just so difficult. And it's difficult because psychologically you're berating yourself, going, oh, I can't believe I did that. And then you still have to focus on all of this difficult gymnastics to come. Very difficult twisting element. But again, the step forward on the landing, likely half a point off.
But let's just enjoy this again. Oh, come along now. That looks spectacular in slow motion, doesn't it?
And the body position is so perfect. We've seen a few people do air flares. I'm not sure if anybody has done them that well. Ends with a very nice triple full.
Well, the numbers so far, 15.166, 14.666, 14.166. That's your gold, silver and bronze. Where does Kirill Prokopiev find his way into that pack? From Vladimir, east of Moscow, which is a place that's produced so many outstanding gymnasts over the years. And it's great to see him on a European stage. It's so difficult to get into the Russian team and to contend for major honours, and he's been such a stalwart of their World University team for so long. He's done a fair few World Cup events too. Came in to replace Arta Nalaloyan, gymnast who's injured his Achilles. 13.466 the score for Kirill Prokopiev, so he's in 6th position. So Under stays in bronze, Bartolini in silver, Nagorny in the gold medal position. That means that Nikita Nagorny has guaranteed himself another medal. Now what of Benjamin Guichard of Switzerland, the 3rd strongest performer in qualification with 14.666. He takes a last moment to remind himself of what he's about to do. The Swiss floor champion a couple of years ago in the most recent competition.
Just doing a bit of visualization as he stepped onto the floor.
He said in recent years that nerves is something he really struggles with, and he does that visualization to calm himself and control them.
So far, it's working very well. Very calm and controlled work indeed. Really nice stick on that second pass, a double twisting double tuck. Front layout, full twist. Russian then the swing on floor exercise. Actually originated from a Kazakh gymnast, Sergei Fedorchenko, named after him.
Consider that an occasion handled by Benjamin Guichard, and he knows it too. They know it too. How glorious it is when a home gymnast delivers something on their terms. An excellent display from the 25-year-old from Bern. His home city hosted the European Championships in 2016. He was part of the Swiss team that won that wonderful bronze medal. Now competing as an individual, and a strong display.
Very strong indeed, and this is a big moment for Swiss gymnastics. Their men's team has come a long way in the past 8 years or so. They brought in a French coach to head the national team, and it's made a world of difference for them. It's led to performances like this. And this is by all means not the only great Swiss routine that we have seen here in Basel. Pablo Breger giving a very nice performance in the all-around yesterday. But this was just flawless from Benjamin Guichard. The 2.5 through the front full again. And finally, triple full to end. Really
now we are hearing something that is going to be very good news for Benjamin Guichard. 14.966. He is in the silver medal position. His execution has gone up by 3/10 from qualification. His difficulty remains the same. So it is Nagorny, followed by Guichard, followed by Bartolini, and Guichard is guaranteed a medal. The Swiss have got themselves on the podium at home. And how lovely it was that Bartolini just reached across and tapped him and said, "Job well done, sir." Here's the last gentleman that can change things, Dimitrov of Bulgaria, the 7th strongest in qualifying with a 14.533. He's in the conversation if all goes well.
Double full, very intricate twisting pass, very difficult to get just right. Side pass. And the double full. have to show a strength move on floor exercise. There's his press handstand.
Third time in a European final for Dimitar Dimitrov, having competed in the vault competition in Glasgow and in Mersin. He was 7th in both of those. It's going to be a real ask to get onto the podium, considering the gymnastics we've seen so far, but he gave a strong account of himself.
A strong account of himself, indeed. What you have to wonder about is whether some of these little hops and steps on his landing aren't potentially going to take him out of the conversation for the medals.
Now it's going to be really interesting as we see the number that comes in for him, because Bartolini has registered the lowest difficulty score in the final, but is sitting in bronze because of his compelling execution. Dimitrov had a stronger difficulty score, in qualification, a couple of tenths up. May well be that he's given more than those couple of tenths away in terms of his execution. So 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
It could be close.
Competes for the Pirin Blagovegrad Club, a multi-sport outfit known as the Eaglets. Lives in a small town in the foothills of the beautiful Rila Mountains. There are your three at the moment. He's the nervous one, Nicola Bartolini, in the bronze medal position. He's okay, but what colour will it be? There's a splendid camaraderie among all of these athletes. Nagorny leads. Then Guichard, then Bartolini. It stays that way. Dimitar Dimitrov with a score of a 13.9. It's 7th place once again for him in a European final. But there are your medalists. Gold for Nikita Nagorny. Silver, home silver for Benjamin Guichard, who is ecstatic, as is Nicola Bartolini. That's basically 3 gold medals won right there, isn't it? They all are celebrating that as though it is a European title. And you know what? Well, it will feel like it for Nicola Bartolini especially. That's a feel-good start, isn't it, to this competition?
Oh, it's lovely to see gymnasts feeling so good about their performances. They have trained so hard and put in so much work and waited such a long time to have this opportunity. Gymnasts and their coaches, too.
He really did step up and deliver something big. So fascinating, isn't it? Guichard, as I mentioned earlier, has spoken about the nerves he feels before competitions. He's been doing so much work to try to combat that. Well, consider it combated. And for the gymnast whose form we waxed lyrical over yesterday, well, I think that's vindication, isn't it? For all of you out there watching thinking he just has lovely execution, well, he proved that execution and form, not solely difficulty, can be a way to access the medals. The second highest execution in the entire competition from Nicola Bartolini. The classified result in the men's floor exercise. Nicola Bartolini securing the bronze medal for Italy. Benjamin Guichard of Switzerland taking the silver for the host nation. And the gold for Nikita Nagorny of the Russian Federation. That's 2 out of 2 for the top man. It is victory ceremony time. They're not the medalists, just to be clear. They are providing great entertainment at this competition. Nice way to begin our victory ceremony for the men's floor exercise. The victory ceremony for the men's floor competition at Basel 2021, the European Artistic Gymnastics Championships. And this was a feel-good final. 3 medalists utterly delighted to be where they are on the podium.
Award ceremony, floor men, Siegerehrung, Boden der Männer. In third place and win of the bronze medal, representing Italy. Auf dem dritten Platz und Gewinner der Bronzemedaille für Italien, Nicola Bartolini.
At so many big competitions, Nicola Bartolini has had a rotten set of luck. The circumstances haven't favoured him. This time he turns up and delivers a beautiful performance to take European bronze, his first ever European
Gewinner der
honour.
Silbermedaille für die Schweiz, Benjamin Gischer.
He's back on the podium and he does very well in Switzerland. Bronze medalist in the team competition in Bern in 2016. He's gone one step higher to take silver in the floor final of 2021.
Champion 2021 men's floor. Representing the Russian Federation. Auf dem ersten Platz und Gewinner der Goldmedaille und Europameister 2021 am Boden der Männer für die russische Föderation, Nikita Nagorny.
There are many ways to win a title. To do it as he did, with that opening tumbling pass, with that degree of difficulty, that doesn't just send a message to Europe, that sends a message to the world. Nikita Nagorny is the European champion on floor exercise. A tale of so many different ways to win a medal on the floor exercise. A full mark of difficulty separates these competitors. We shall now hear the national anthem
Ladies and
of
gentlemen,
the
in honor to
Russian
the winner, please
Federation.
stand for the national anthem of the Russian Federation. Meine Damen und Herren, zu Ehren des Siegers hören wir nun die Nationalhymne der Russischen Föderation.